So there's this one company that we were working with, and basically ran into the definition of the Frankenstack. And what is that, you might be wondering. So kind of going back to that first point I was making, this company had acquired a lot of the tools as they're going about before they had the people who knew how to manage it. So the ownership of these tools kind of fell on the folks that needed them at the time. So for example, their Salesforce instance was passed around. At first it was the head of sales, but then, as the team grew and he got really busy and had to focus on sales, pass it down to the sales manager, then shift it over to someone else. And, the buck kind of keeps getting passed around. And each of these instances, all of their tools were built on a reactionary approach. So someone needed a field, they were created. When a idea was created for a custom object to be added in, that was built and added into the system. Automations and triggers were built out kind of haphazardly as people needed things. There was no documentation to explain how any of these things were. Different third-party tools were purchased as well, some with overlapping functionality, and then integrated into the system, adding more fields and packages. Well, eventually the entire system started grinding to a halt. So basically this Frankenstack, which ends up being built by many hands, often no documentation of what was built, no plan for the future, and cobbled together day by day in a reactionary approach, causes the next thing that we want to avoid, and this is the tech debt influenced decisions. So one of the common ones for this is you get to the point where you want to add more to the system. But in this case, for example, we had reached field limits, so no more custom fields could be added. We were reaching API trigger limits. And then one of the most heartbreaking things that we hear as RevOps people is someone wants to do something. The system has been built in a way where they can't do it. And then they say, you know what, I'm just going to do this in a spreadsheet. So in fact, you start to go backwards and away from the direction that you want to be taking your tech stack towards the future. So